Well, the Ryder Cup picks for the United States team are in. Zach Johnson has made his selection today, just moments ago, and not shocking at all, but we're going to dive into who he picked, why he picked him, and why he left the guys off that maybe should have been picked. Before we jump in, thanks so much for tuning in to the podcast. If you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, please do so and hit the bell notification so you don't miss any episodes that come out while we're talking golf, YouTube golf, social media golf, all that kind of good stuff. And let's dive in right now. This episode is always brought to us by our good friends 7 Diamonds. Get your clothing. I have a discount link in the video description below. They got all kinds of epic and awesome gear, not only for you, but for the misses as well. Golf on the course and off the course stuff. Love it. And there's just a couple spots left for our Pine Needles event coming up here in a few months, couple months, and end of October. Pine Needles, we're going to play 4 rounds of golf, got rooms included. We're doing 2 short game clinics with yours truly. So be sure to check that out. Link below there as well. All right. Who did Zach Johnson? If you weren't watching, Zach Johnson made his picks. And here's what he did. Now, the first 6 are automatically in. That's Scotty Scheffler, Wyndham Clark, Brian Harmon, Patrick Cantlay, Max Homa, and Xander Schauffele. So 7th on the list was Brooks Koepka, and yes, Brooks did get a pick, rightly so. You cannot leave number 7 off the list, regardless of where they play, all right? He came on the PGA Tour, won a major championship. You're not leaving that guy off. Plus, he's a likable person, good team player guy, so everybody gets along well with Brooks. If Bryson was the number 7 guy, he may not have gotten a pick. I would have picked him because I like Bryson. I like his analytical mind. I like what he does, and he's an intense competitor. So if he was there, I would have still picked him. If Bryson was anywhere in the top 15, I would have picked him, but he wasn't. So Bryson does not get a pick, but Brooks does, rightly so. Jordan Spieth, next on the list, also got a captain's pick. Fantastic. I would have picked him also. Now, number 9th on the list was Cameron Young, and Zach Johnson did not pick Cam Young. He skipped him. He bypassed him. I don't know why. I don't know why. The thing is, for 9th, man, years ago, 9th would have made it, and 10, 11, 12 would have been captain's picks. But 9th doesn't make it now. So they might have 9, they might have 10 picks. So a while ago, they switched it to 6 picks. So Morikawa is 10th on the list, and he also gets picked. Now, he did play well at the Tour Championship, and he's a great player. And I don't know if I would have picked him or not, but he's a great player and gets along well with everybody. So deserved a pick for sure. I wouldn't say he didn't deserve a pick. He deserved a pick. Now, 11th on the list was Keegan Bradley. Now, Keegan was interviewed at the Tour Championship the other day, and he said he would have done things differently early on in his career by making more friends with people. Instead, he was kind of like had this attitude, it's him against the world. So that might have cost him a pick because he did not get picked as number 11, and he's playing well. So he probably would have been somebody that personally I would have picked Keegan over Morikawa if it were me. But they have analytic guys looking at all the stats. Keegan's been playing incredibly well. So I probably would have gone with Keegan. He has experience. He's been in these situations before, and he's just a great competitor. But he didn't get the pick. So that kind of was like, wow. Instead, he picked Sam Burns. So Sam Burns gets a pick over Keegan Bradley, even though Keegan played better, finished, higher up on the list of points, had more Ryder Cup points than Sam Burns. But Sam Burns gets the pick. he's in. Then we have guys outside of the top 12 in points. Ricky Fowler sitting at number 13 also got a pick. So you skip Cameron Young, you skip Keegan Bradley, those two guys who are in the top 12, and you go Ricky Fowler gets the pick, who's outside. So he bumps Keegan and Cameron Young. He bumps those guys out. And so for me, I'm like, okay, if you do this, the Ryder Cup's a collection of points over the last 2 years. So if you took this past year, Ricky would have had a lot of points. He would have qualified, or he would have been in the top 12 if you just took this year's points. And so last year he didn't have enough points, or he wasn't anywhere near the list, so he really climbed up the ladder over this past year. So he's in good form. I definitely would have picked him. The next guy who gets picked is not Danny McCarthy. It's Justin Thomas, who's 15th on the list. Now, if you take the same philosophy as points of when you get your points, well, Justin got very few points this year. Most of his points, and the reason he's 15th, is from 2 years ago. So he is in not good form. So I could see why you would take Ricky in good form, but Justin has been in poor form. He would be kind of the guy that stands out as like, man, why'd you pick that guy? Why not take the hot golfer who's one below Justin? Lucas Glover has a couple wins recently and is putting out of this world. And get Lucas Glover maybe paired with Scotty Scheffler, who can't putt. Poor guy has the putting woes, and put a guy who's really putting incredibly well. But no, you don't go with the hot hand Lucas Glover, and you go with Justin Thomas. So why did you go with Justin Thomas? Well, he and Ricky are great friends. He and Jordan are great friends. The three of them are really great friends. And so I'm thinking you want that camaraderie. So that's why you're going with Justin Thomas. You put him in there because Ricky and Jordan love playing with him. And I think Lucas it's sad he's not in that like fraternity of guys who all hang out together, play with each other, play together. And so you go with Justin, the friend, hoping that his relationships and his familiarity with the other guys and the friendships they have helps him play better, which I think it will. Now, look, you look at the U.S. team and you compare it to the current European team, it appears as though it doesn't matter who Zach picks. Like, it's going to be, well, there's just not a lot of guys out there that are Rory and Victor Hovland, like maybe two other guys. Like, there's not a lot of guys that are that the European team is going to put out there. So we're looking at the European team of Rory McIlroy, well, John Rahm, okay, yeah, for sure. And then Robert McIntyre, Yannick Paul, Victor Perez, Tommy Fleetwood's been playing well, so there's one. Don't we get and Victor Hovland, who's like 17th on the list, so he's definitely in, but he's just in because of recent play, so he's gonna get picked for sure. You know that. So you got Victor Hovland, you got Tommy Fleetwood, who's still has yet to win on the PGA Tour. You got John Rahm and Rory McIlroy. So they're going to have to really pull another rabbit out of a hat to get this one. But they are on home soil, and they have a knack for doing some stuff that really, that's why I think Zach went with Justin over, let's say, Keegan or Lucas Glover. That's my theory on that one. It's not shocking. His whole picks, there's not like, whoa, he picked Dustin Johnson. He didn't. Which I think if you take here's what's interesting. If you look at the U.S. Ryder Cup standings, the live golfers with the most points are Brooks Koepka at 7, And then who do you think is next? Without looking, any thoughts? Who do you think the next live golfer is on the U.S. Ryder Cup points list? That now, and remember, these guys haven't played. They haven't earned Ryder Cup points in a long time. The next one is 37th on the list, and it's none other than Phil Mickelson. You wonder, I think we all wonder, if Phil were on the PGA Tour, would he have collected enough points to qualify on his own? Where would he be if he was on the PGA Tour? And then right behind him at 40th is Dustin Johnson. Again, only played major championships. So 4 events. He's got 4 events. Phil's got 4 events. And Brooks got 4 events plus some carryovers from last year that he had points for. So he made it. You had to wonder, like, did Zach consider, probably not Phil Mickelson, but you had to consider Dustin Johnson. You had to at least kick it around and say, would this guy, and the guy would be a viable pick. I might have looked at Zach, or I think Zach maybe would have looked at Dustin Johnson, but who does he kick out? Justin Thomas, a guy who's really good friends with these other guys. Now, Dustin is too. So I think that, I'm curious, if you don't pick Justin Thomas, do you pick Dustin Johnson? Because you're not going to pick Phil. But if Phil were on the PGA Tour, he probably would have been a captain's pick. Not a captain's pick. He would have been a vice captain for sure, if not the captain. But he's out. So either way, it's going to be exciting. I think we got a solid team. I can't say that Zach blundered. He didn't blunder a pick. You're fine. You're fine. I just feel bad for like a Keegan and a Lucas Glover and Cam Young, who's 9th on the list. That poor guy just got booted for, like, so many people leapfrogged him. That's just, for a guy like that, I think he will have a chip on his shoulder, and that guy is going to come out and dominate next year. That's my prediction. Cameron Young, throw all your money on him. If you're a gambling man, Cameron Young is going to be the guy who I might lay down like the first major of the year. Cam Young, Masters 2024. He's going to come out and he's going to take no prisoners. Go get him, Cameron. I'm rooting for you because I think that's messed up. You get skipped by that many people. That's your money bet. Money bet right there. Take it to the bank. Gamble at your own risk, though. It's on you. If you're broke, don't come crying to me. It's your own fault. There we go. Ryder Cup picks. It's going to be an exciting time. Peace out. See you next time.